Have you ever wondered why some black women tend to go for Pookie and Ray-Rays only for them to end up unwed mothers? Well, today, we're going to be covering why women can't seem to resist them and why they keep running back to them. This is going to be mostly about the ones that are legit, not the ones women tend to control. Women like them too, but probably for one thing and one thing only. Anyways, the first reason why black women in particular love them so much is because they possess the bad boy appeal. The bad boy appeal is pervasive in all cultures and ethnic groups. Let's consider rappers and other famous musicians. Most famous musicians have groupies and women throwing themselves at them all of the time. Also to take note is that music serves as an anchor in African American culture. It's also a big part of the African heritage. In the early days of hip-hop, guys that came up from low-income homes were talented in creating music even if they were no more than a lyricist. They emphasized on not only their own personal struggles, but the forces that oppose the African American community. Back then, hip-hop was more of a positive form of self-expression and creativity. However, when the music turned into something more self-destructive, that's when we start seeing more violence in the community, the promotion of drugs, and divisions within the black community. Some black women perceive certain drug dealers and criminals as community leaders due to their influence and resources. They were not only considered sexually appealing to women, but they were also very rebellious and lived a very fast life. Most women, if not all, can't resist a man that has danger written all over him. This is one of the reasons why many women tend to fall victim for Pookie and Ray-Ray types. While the educated lanes were working on becoming someone productive, Pookie and Ray-Ray types personified an idea and exuded a confidence that black women were just drawn to. They've gained their success out of the mud and were often set early in life. This is one of the reasons why black women cater to Pookie and Ray-Ray types, because their lives were often short-lived, whether they were in prison or dead. The second reason why some women love Pookies and Ray-Rays is because some of them are just toxic. For some black women, the only thing that tends to attract them are toxic relationships. If you will pay attention to reality TV shows like Love and Hip Hop, Black Ink, The Real Housewives of Atlanta, and many more, you'll find more drama on there than any other programs. For these black women, it feels better to have something go wrong in their relationships, whether that's verbal, physical, emotional, or psychological abuse. Some women get off on the idea that their relationships with the man is on edge. This may be due to childhood trauma, or it's because they just lust after a man that harness that kind of energy. Pookies and Ray-Rays that are toxic tend to attract women that tend to portray themselves as wholesome good girl types. All Pookies and Ray-Rays represent the men that women generally lust after. They're not the men that will be wholesome for the long term. Even if these men didn't intend to cause harm, the way they live can potentially threaten a woman's overall well-being. This can range from a woman having to compete with other women to possibly taking a bullet for them. The final reason why black women love Pookie and Ray-Ray types is because they have an image. Pookie and Ray-Ray tend to carry themselves with a certain swagger, which triumphs everything a woman can list. These guys usually wear the latest apparel, and their gear is usually very urban. Most Pookies and Ray-Rays camouflage themselves in tattoos, as it is a part of their self-expression. I like to mention that swagger is not limited to your drip game. Swagger is defined by how a person presents themselves to the world and how they handle a situation. The point is, swagger is an attitude that tends to manifest itself in how a person walk, talk, and conduct themselves. Pookies and Ray-Rays usually carry themselves in a very confident or aggressive manner. Their physical appearance tends to stand out. Without having a tight dress game, you'll be considered invisible to women. Every guy has to have a look. This is one of the reasons why bad boys tend to attract a lot of women, because at the least, they dress badass. Women love men that have a look. This is just one in many ways a man can stand out from his competition. It's actually a form of peacocking. Peacocking, or the peacock effect, plays a big part in a man's burden of performance. When men dress flamboyant, pull up at a hot venue in a nice car, or men showing off on a dance floor, and acting in a dominant and aggressive manner, these are all forms of peacocking. Peacocking is a big part of a man's game. You can learn some things from Pookie and Ray-Ray types about seducing women. This is not to say that you should become a drug dealer or a criminal. I hope this video gave you more insight on why women tend to fall for Pookie and Ray-Ray types. Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Peace.